What's up guys, Blade Master here with a startling realization that'll be sure to blow your nut hairs off of your ball sack. Okay, it's not that startling a realization, but this is an interesting test with some interesting results. I was trying to see how good the Persian Bows and the Persian Bowmen, the low tier, relatively low tier archers of the Sassanid Empire do in a one-on-one engagement against Germanic archers. Now, you might be wondering, the Germanic archers, it's not really an apples to apples test because the Germanic archers have such longer range. Well, that's why I decided to start this test. I wanted to see if the Persian Bows and Persian Bowmen, with their higher rate of fire, can actually compensate for the decreased range that they have. So, Germanic archers have 20 rate of fire. The rate of fire is 20, I believe. Let's go ahead and just check this. Check it right here. And that awkward moment. Okay, cool. Okay, so Germanic archers have a rate of fire of 38, whereas the Persian bows, in addition to having shields, which Germanic archers don't have a rate of fire of 50. So that's a 30. If I recall correctly, that's a 30% increase in rate of fire. So I wanted to see if the extra rate of fire combined with the small shields that they have gives them, or at least makes them equal to Germanic archers. Now, the Germanic archers on these two Germanic archers have turned on precision shot immediately, and it's also going to give us some interesting insight on how fatigue plays in a one-on-one conflict with archers against archers. So now the Persian bows have moved in range. Let's go ahead and pause this because they've taken their first volley, these Persian bows. So in the first volley, the extra 50 range that the Germanic archers have, these guys have a range of 150, whereas Germanic archers have a range of 200. The extra 50 range that the Germanic archers have only got them one kill with precision shot on. Granted, it must have done some HP damage, but these guys have very low HP, even lower HP than the Germanic archers themselves. So it did a little bit of HP damage and got a couple of kills only. Now, these guys are in range. They have the 30% increase in rate of fire. These guys don't have precision shot though. They're more expensive, I believe. No, they're slightly less expensive to Germanic archers. They don't have precision shot, but they do have a much higher rate of fire. So let's go ahead and see how that does. The one in the center is probably the best one to look at because this is there's no weird angles going on in place. It's just like one-on-one engagements. 100 kills here, 35 kills. The ones with the Germanic archer which did use precision shot here, this one is actually doing poorly. It's losing more men than the Persian bows. These Germanic archers didn't use precision shot. They've got 84 and 83. So this one is a lot more. It's a lot more even. So it seems that the increased fatigue that the Germanic archers take matters quite a lot because it reduces the rate of fire by so much that it actually is detrimental. You can see, let's go ahead and put this in play. This engagement where the Germanic archer used precision shot, the Germanic archer is down to 54, whereas the Persian bows are down to 71. Here, 65 versus 74. Whereas, I mean, these guys still have some more ammo left. And you can see these guys, they still have, what, 3 more volleys of ammunition left? They'll definitely be able to get quite a few more kills on these guys. So, two things that we can draw up in this engagement is that one, precision shot against enemy skirmishers, not really sure if it's best to use it immediately. Maybe it's best once these guys have come in so close that the accuracy is better. So maybe you can use your missile damage to deadly effect there. But the second thing is that the Persian bows really aren't all that bad because they've been given that missile damage buff, I believe, now to 49, the same as Germanic archers. So you can see these guys actually beating the Germanic archers. 71 kills, 71 men left versus 54. And these guys 55 versus 89. Again, this is not really a great engagement because there's like a slight angle problem going on here. You can see they've got so much ammo left. So probably this is the best indicator of how these two units match up. This one is 63 versus 63, so they're dead on. At the very least, if you're willing to bring Germanic archers, you should be willing to bring Persian bows. Now, Germanic archers do give you a much bigger strategic advantage in the battlefield because they have such high range, so you can use them to shoot at cavalry that's stationed as far behind as, well, I mean, can't see their range now. But if you have Germanic archers here, they can fire at cavalry all the way here, which in itself is a huge strategic advantage, which is not possible with the Persian bows. But of course, with Sassanids, most likely you'll be bringing some Sassanid slingers, so you can be using them for that long range skirmish purpose. Just in a skirmish on skirmish engagement, the Persian bows actually do quite a decent bit of damage, and this increased rate of fire can actually make the Persian bows much more useful than Germanic archers when you're firing up against units, shock infantry like Agathar Huskarls, Langobards, the Gordon's men, Gordon's chosen. I have a battle in which is in Maximus's channel, where I use the Persian bows, and they get quite a lot of kills on Gordon's chosen and Gordon's men with using heavy shot. Because that increased rate of fire, once you hold them down, get a half decent angle with these Persian bows, they'll actually be able to do quite a bit of damage. Now we'll be progressing on to the Elite Germanic Archers. So these guys cost 450 talents, and they're going to be fighting up against Persian Bowmen. Now Persian Bowmen cost 500 talents. I want to take a look at their stats real quick. Let's go ahead. Persian Bowmen, they have actually pretty decent armor. 20 armor for a unit. For this unit, they have 64 rate of fire, which is very slight increase compared to the Persian bows, considering they cost almost double. The Elite Germanic Archers have started to fire. Another big thing about these guys is that they have the regular sword, 36-4 melee damage, which is huge. It seems huge, at least. Now the Elite Germanic Archers have 51 rate of fire, which is really good when combined with their increased range. Now you can see Persian bows, the Elite Germanic Archers have started firing. Persian bowmen have very good armor, so their shields are going to be able to absorb a decent bit of that damage. Now they've come into range. Let's go ahead and pause. This is the first volley. So with their excess range and using precision shot, the Elite Germanic Archers, with their keep in mind their much higher missile damage of 53, which turns to 73 with using precision shot, has killed 2 Persian Bowmen here, 1 Persian Bowman here, and 0. So it caused some HP damage here. So again, in a skirmish on skirmish engagement, even with high tier Germanic archers, there's really not a big difference unless you kite. If you kite, that's a whole different story. But if you don't kite and you're simply thinking that with the extra 50 range they can cause a lot of damage, one, they only get 1 volley off, and the second thing is, even with precision shot, it's really not going to do too much against Persian Bowmen. Now the Persian Bowmen are, what I've done is, with this test we can see that in the center both are going to be using precision shot. In my right, my Persian Bowman is going to be using precision shot, while the Elite Germanic Archer is not going to use precision shot. And here the Elite Germanic is going to use precision, while my Persian Bowmen don't use anything. Just trying to see how what the effect of precision shot is on the elite tier archers for either faction, or relatively elite tier. Now again, Elite Germanic Archers have jack shit for armor. 10 armor is the same as regular Germanic. No, they have slightly higher, slightly better armor than the Germanic Archers. Again, no shield, so no missile block chance. Now let's see. Let's go ahead and fast forward. They've lost a couple of volleys, 14 kills with the Persian Bowmen. They're definitely losing this engagement, at least in this early bits. This unit that used precision shot is definitely getting a lot of kills with that with their ammo. For my Persian Bowmen here, 25 kills, getting slightly better than the Elite Germanic Archers. Whereas here, probably the most fair engagement, 80 versus 76. So again, the Persian Bowmen with their slightly higher, 51 to 64 is probably like a 15% increase in rate of fire. Let me go ahead and check my trusty calculator if my thing is right. Calculator, 64 divided by 51 is, oh, it's a 25% increase. So slightly lower than the Germanic Archers versus the Persian Bows. This is only a 25% increase in rate of fire for these guys. That said, they do have other benefits with their shields and stuff, with their better shields and better armor. 82 health is very, very similar to Elite Germanic Archers, so they make up for that in different ways. Getting 68 kills here, it's very similar. When both these units use precision shot, 67 versus 52, they actually beat out the Germanic Archers in that sense. Here, the Persian Bowmen that used precision shot versus an Elite Germanic that didn't, is definitely winning this engagement quite a bit, quite handily. Interesting to note that the Elite Germanic Archers have fired all of their ammo, whereas these guys have not. Because even with their increased rate of fire, I guess that's because of the extra range. 59 units left here versus 60. So it seems, and these Elite Germanics used precision shot. So all in all, it seems like as an archer's archer, or an archer to defeat other archers, the Persian Bowmen definitely win out, and that's not simply because of their shields and such. It's because of their swords. Now these two units are going to clash into melee. The Elite Germanic Archers have popped Rapid at once, which increases their charge speed and charge bonus. Doesn't make the slightest bit of difference. They have 35 melee defense, these guys, and they have the 40 weapon damage swords. So really, there's no these guys are on a different class when it comes to melee. So yeah, it looks like they have very good melee stats for an archer when compared to other archers. So the two takeaways from this is, again, the extra range doesn't really matter. It only nets them 1 or 2 volleys, even with the 51 rate of fire of the Elite Germanic Archers, and again doesn't do too much, even with precision shot. Second thing is, the Persian Bowmen definitely beat out the Elite Germanic Archers when it comes to skirmish fights against them. Their extra range rate of fire doesn't matter as much in this particular engagement. What really does matter is their better armor, their chance to block missiles, and at the end of the day, their melee damage with their swords matters a whole lot, and their melee defense. Now we're going to try and see how that, if 10 melee attack and 40 melee damage actually matters. We're comparing them against Germanic nobles, who have jack shit for stats in general, just very tanky units, and the Germanic nobles actually slaughter the Persian Bowmen. Sure, I mean, this is not really the greatest test because they're not, full strength. They're quite depleted, but still, I mean, I would expect them to get one solitary kill. They don't even get that. So I decided, okay, fine, let's use the second Persian Bowman. At least they should be able to get some kills. Nothing doing though. The Germanic nobles just eat them for breakfast without taking a single casualty. So yeah, the melee damage honestly doesn't matter at all, except in that very, very specialized situation when they're going to charge archers. So a pretty interesting test, which is why I decided to bring it to you guys. The Sassanid archers, the Sassanid low tier, I think the Persian bows are honestly not all that bad. The Persian bowmen are definitely good archers, but do you really want to spend 500 talents on an archer? No one brings Elite Germanic Archers, and no one brings Persian bows or Persian bowmen for a reason. Still, the Persian bows are a very good choice, I think, or at least a semi-decent choice when you want to fire at, or when you're facing up against a shock infantry heavy faction and you have no other faction to pick up other than Sassanids. Of course, you have to bring Armenian slingers. The Armenian slingers will take care of the cavalry, and most likely the Armenian slingers won't have much ammo left to deal with the shock infantry, because their rate of fire of 120 means that they're just going to run out of ammo really quickly. So for late game, mid game engagements, using Persian bows to with heavy shot to destroy, Uar warriors, Gordon's men, Thracian warriors, blah blah blah. That can help a lot. That can help you out a lot. So yeah, hope you guys enjoyed this test, and maybe bring some Persian bows in the future. Peace.